Hey there, welcome back. We have another market update for the Sarasota and Manatee County real estate market. Let's get right into it. As always, we track our 5 key metrics. What we're doing is we're comparing what happened in the month of January 2026 compared to December 2025. Most people do market updates year over year, but so much changes over a year that I don't think it's fair to do that. So I do it month over month. All right, our first key metric, total closed sales. This is one of the most important ones in my opinion. How many people actually bought something? And if you don't know, our numbers have been going down and down and down for a good 3 years straight. Go check out the old videos. You'll see that basically we have less and less sales. Now, in December compared to November, we actually went up a little bit. But this month, we ate up all of that increase and more. We went down significantly. So in December 2025, we had 1,823 sales, and in January, 1,400. This is a 23.2% decrease at a time when we have our tourist season, our snowbird season. This is not a good sign, guys. I think everybody was expecting interest rates to come down. They did not come down. I mean, they came down in 2025 about 1% throughout the whole year. But right now is a time that people thought we're going to be at a really low interest rate level. All the predictions from 2024 said that we're going to be somewhere in the 4s. And right now we're at 6%, if not more. Anyway, that's a record low. Sorry to start this video with such a crappy report, but let's go into our second metric, median sales price. This is what everyone wants. Everyone wants to know, did my price go up or down? So I'm going to pull up a chart and we're going to look at condos and single family homes. Boom, get your tissue paper and start crying because everything went down except for single family homes in Sarasota. They went up 1% only at 490 in January. So, you know, I guess it's just a little bit better than it was. But in general, this is not a good sign once again. Now, are you surprised that the condos are going down? I'm not at all, because there's so few condos selling, which we'll report a little later in the video. But there's so many people out there shopping around and no one's pulling the trigger. They're all offering, 10% under, and they're settling at about 7.5% under full list price. That is our average right now in Sarasota. I mean, look what happened with the Sarasota condos. 8.9% decrease over one single month. I am not really happy about that, and I feel for all the condo owners out there. The condo owners are basically in a tight spot because if you are in a low-rise condo, 2 stories or 1 story, well, then you're subject to all the insurance increases. And if you're in a 3-story or higher, then not only are you subject to that, to those insurance increases, but also you're subject to the new laws that came in about 2 years ago, requiring all these structural inspections and reserve feasibility studies, the SIRS. Basically, it's just not a good thing. And most people are not buying condos because the HOA fees are out of control. I have 2 clients right now looking for condos with HOA fees under $300 a month. And guess what? I haven't found anything for them. And at $300 a month HOA fees, you basically get nothing. So you're not really getting any amenities, which it seems like you would, because just 3, 4, 5 years ago, you would get a lot of amenities. Well, that was depressing. So now let me continue the bad news, because we're gonna go into our third metric, and that is our inventory. How many months of supply are we sitting at? You see, our supply skyrocketed in mid-2025, and now we're in a position where those numbers started going down, which is great. However, let's look and pull up what happened month over month. And by the way, before I pull that up, I just want to remind you that January is our first serious month of tourist season, of snowbird season. So a lot of people actually wait to list their property for January and February and March, and then just a little bit in April. So I'm expecting, a big spike in listings, and let's pull it up. Boom! Unfortunately, we have a lot more homes. I mean, look, everything 6.4% more, 9.9% more, 7.0, 10.8%. Those condos are really suffering. So you got a condo, once again, not only is your price going down, but also you have a lot more competition, which is kind of like a revolving problem, right? More listings, lower prices, more listings. It just keeps going and going. But the good news is for single family homes, we have 5.0 for Sarasota County and 4.6 months of inventory for Manatee County, which is an indication span of a buyer's market. And that is just a general metric that's used nationally. However, in the real world out there, if you're shopping for a home, now what you'll notice is that the homes in Sarasota County and Manatee County are in a seller's market. And you would think that that means that the sellers get to dictate the price. But as you saw, prices keep going down, except for those homes in Sarasota. And inventory just went up in Sarasota slightly, just 1%, like I mentioned. But if you take a step back and you just look at the behavior of the buyers out there, what you'll notice, which I notice, and probably every realtor watching this video will notice or has noticed, is that the buyers dictate the price, not the sellers. You think that the sellers are the ones in control because it's officially a seller's market, but that is not at all how it feels. It really feels like the buyers are just lowballing everything, and a lot of them are getting what they want, which is why our average list to sales price is right around 93%. Okay, let's keep moving. On to our fourth metric. This would be the days on the market before you go under contract, not before you sell. That always takes a little longer, but how long are you going to sit, once you list it? So let's pull up the chart. And it looks like Sarasota single family homes went down. And these numbers aren't that bad. 48 days, 66, 58, 65. Even though this is all red, except for Sarasota single family homes, in general, that's not a really long time to wait. If you go back to 2010, 2009, it was in the hundreds. So it's really not that bad. But compared to where we were just 3 years ago, it is really bad. And just compared to last month, it did get worse. But if you're a seller and you want to sell in average time, it's only going to be a couple of months. So that's not that bad. Now, a lot of people do remove their listing off the market because basically they get tired of trying to sell it and showing it and always clean it up every time the showing gets requested. So there is a little bit of a number going down for the days list to contract, because the ones that aren't priced right, they get pulled, so they eventually just never sell. So those high days on the market end up getting pulled anyway. But our second most important metric is our last metric. That is the total number of homes for sale, not just homes but condos as well, for sale available on the market at the end of the month. This is our inventory level, and like I mentioned earlier in the video, we had our inventory peak in the mid 2025 and then started coming down because sellers got really tired and they just pulled their listings, right? And it actually got pulled back a good 25% or so in our area over months, over 4, 5, 6 months or so. But this month in January, just as expected, we went up. So in December we had 9,609 active listings at the end of the month, on the last day of the month, and in January we had 10,367. That is actually a 7.9% increase. Once again, not looking good. So sorry to give you all that bad news, but that's just the data. Don't blame the messenger. If you have any questions about real estate, you just want to chat, you want to invest into real estate, sometimes I do see pretty decent investment opportunities out there, but they do sell quickly. Anyway, give me a call, 941-888-SOLD. My name is Maciek Zaremba. I'm with Fathom Realty. I've been in real estate for 23 or so years, 24 years. Either way, give me a call. Be glad to help you out.